beans. So when you cut a cocoa pod, you take your cutting implement, in this case a little meat cleaver. As you strike the pod, you're turning it, and as you rotate it, as you're striking, you're cutting through the wall of the pod without cutting into the beans. And you make sure your fingers are not dry. Then when you breach the pod, these broke off. When you breach the pod, it reveals the cocoa beans. Now these cocoa beans have no semblance of a taste or a smell of chocolate whatsoever. They're very citric, very sweet, very clean to the sense of taste as well as smell. Now notice a thick-walled pod, 90% of the weight is in the pod itself. Some of the wall structures can be as much as a ½ inch thick. But the pod was designed that way for a reason, in order to entomb the beans in an airtight container, so that none of the atmospheric conditions could penetrate through that thick wall of the pod, adversely affecting the condition of the cocoa beans before they were officially opened. Mother Nature decided to put a white, slimy coating on every bean. It's a sugar yeast mucilage coating known as PUMA, P-U-M-A. Mother Nature put that white, slimy coating on every bean for a reason. And she knew as man evolved through the years, they would eventually figure it out. And they did. The beans are now exposed to the environment. In the environment is the oxygen. The oxygen in the environment becomes the catalyst that precipitates the yeast in the coating to start converting sugar to alcohol to CO2. That's your basic fermentation chemical reaction. The subtle byproduct of the chemical reaction is heat. So as these beans are now exposed to the environment as well as the oxygen in the environment, they will eventually start to ferment. As they start to ferment, each one of these beans have been given the ability to be able to take the byproduct of heat from the chemical reaction that's occurring and direct the heat to the surface of the bean, creating a surface heat known as ectothermal energy. Mother Nature gave these beans the ability, once they're exposed to the environment, they can generate their own surface heat and heat themselves up for one reason: to take that white, slimy coating off. Now, once the white, slimy coating is off, it reveals a rusty color shell, which you're going to test by all the beans in the drying bin as you walk by. Immediately under the shell is the pure meat of the chocolate, known as the chocolate milk. Now, this is what actually goes into your bonds when you eat chocolate. This is what chocolate is.